Would you like to learn, understand, enjoy, and apply the beauty of physics for ordinary secondary education? How are you, everybody who is watching this program? I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you into this fantastic moment when we are going to learn the beauty of physics for ordinary secondary education. My name is Olenjolai, Moko Tayai Losingo. Simply just call me Olenjolai. I thank God by His own grace He has called me to be a national teacher of physics in entire nations of the Tanzania. I am a Tanzanian and I love so much my country, and this is our national flag. I would like to welcome all the national international into this fantastic online school that called the Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai. So, firstly, I would like to welcome you into our online school that is called Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai. Simultaneously, I would like to welcome you into one of our official YouTube channel that's called Tanzania Online O-Level Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai. Wow. So you have so many questions. Possibly this is your first time to meet me. I would like to welcome because physics is a cross-cutting. Physics for the Form 3 is a cross-cutting subject for the entire world. So whether you are African, you are American, you are Asians, you're European student, or you are maybe Asian students or Asian students. So you're only welcome. You're Tanzanians, you're only welcome into this fantastic moment. I would like to spend a few minutes just to give you the overview of Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai. Firstly, this is an online school. It's not we don't have any physical school that's called Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai. It's online, so we provide our contents online. So the second thing that I would like to clarify to you is what vision do we have in TOOSO. TOOSO is abbreviations of Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai. Well, I have an assignment, or we have an assignment that we have been given by God to teach and train ordinary secondary students on how they can extract knowledge, understanding from physics, chemistry, basic mathematics, and combine it with knowledge, understanding, and wisdom that we will teach them to extract it from the Word of God written in the Holy Bible in order to solve real-life problems. So the main objective of TOOSO is to teach you how you can think outside of the classroom instruction. First of all, we teach you to enjoy and even to understand beyond the scope what you have to cover in physics, chemistry, and basic mathematics from Form 1 to Form 4. Secondly, we have a responsibility to take you or to teach you to think differently and think outside of the class. So that's the response. The main objective of this program is not to teach you to pass your next exam or Form 1, Form 2, Form 3. It's not to teach you whether that maybe to cover these contents, to cover these contents in order to have a certificate. But the main objective of this program is to teach you to think differently and how you can use the classroom instruction to solve real-life problems. So these contents are dedicated to all the pre-Form 3 students, to all pre-Form 3 students, to Form 3 students, to QT students, to visitors students, and also I dedicate to physics teachers, of Tanzania, of African contents and teachers. So these are the contents that we prepared for them. Wow. Again, you're asking yourself, what problem are we solving? According to my research, when I was in ordinary secondary education, I realized that there's an imbalance between students who pursue science category in the third year of the ordinary secondary education and students who used to pursue business or artistic subjects. So according to my research, I find that it's inversely proportional. So the number of students used to pursue science where that they have to study physics and chemistry, it's small. And also according to my research that the performance of ordinary secondary students in Tanzania, I don't know about other African countries, but I believe that the same problems existing, is less in physics, chemistry, and basic mathematics. So I'm here to use different technique, different teaching aids, different teaching approach, and different teaching style to teach all our ordinary secondary students on how they have to enjoy the beauty of physics, chemistry, and basic mathematics from 1 through to form 4. Okay, so that the problems that we'll be solving. So we'll be try your level best to make sure that you understand, use a simple language of teaching, use a simple language, a simple way of teaching, and a simple way of approaching different difficulty concepts. Will be simplifying them step to step. Then I'll let you spend a few minutes just to let you know how you can register yourself permanently into also. First of all, in every physical ordinary secondary education, secondary school, there is a physical registrations which actually can take a week or it can take a day. But in this online school, you have to register yourself only once. And this is the program, this is the national and international program. Remember that. The first step, if you don't have an email, something that we call the email address, then you have to create or open a new email. How do you open or create a new email? Just to go into the Google search and then write, how can I create a new email? If you have your email, then remember your password and the username, and you can skip the first step. The second step, we ask you to sign in YouTube by using your email, the email that you have created or your own email. So when you sign in, we ask you the username and the password. So you have to remember that. And then the third step, we ask you to search to also. Don't search to also in YouTube. To also is not there, but the names, our official YouTube channel is called TANZANIA Online O-Level Safety School in square bracket Olenjolai. So copy and paste what our official YouTube name, your official YouTube channel name, and then just search. Once you search, you'll see that the round buttons that with the national flag of Tanzania, so Tanzania national flag, in this button like this one. So we ask you to click that button, these round buttons. Once you click, you will see the horizontal tab, and we call it just a welcoming video. So you see horizontal tab is homes, videos, playlist, channel, community channel, and then it's about. So we ask you to click again, look at the bottom of your right hand side or elsewhere in the video, and then you'll see that there is a software buttons that written subscribe. So we ask you to click these buttons once, and then the text will change into subscribing. And once you click it, the icons of the bell will appear. We ask you to click these buttons at this icon once, and then you see 3 options. Then we ask you to choose on. So then from there, when you accomplish the 50th step within a minute, then you have already registered yourself permanently in total also. And our registrations, or there's no registration fee, so it should not be fear. And once you subscribe by using your email, in case you change a new email, then you'll be asked to subscribe again. But if you're still using the same email, then you'll find that you have already registered yourself. Why should you subscribe? We have a vision of recording and publishing more than 600 videos of physics, chemistry, and basic mathematics from 1 to form 4. So in order for you to get notifications from the YouTube community, then or anywhere at any time, then when you subscribe, you will get notification that Olenjolai has added a new video. Remember that we always add at least 1 video in a day of physics, chemistry, basic mathematics from 1, from 2, from 3, and from 4. So you have to make sure that you subscribe for you to get notification. For example, this is session 5. When you subscribe in this session 5, then whenever we add session 6, which will be program law, session 6, which will be problem solving about triangle of the triangle method, problem solving by using triangle method, then you get notification. Again, another step. These other 2 steps are just the extraordinary steps for you. For example, the 60 steps will give you the access of our contents easily. So you have to click the horizontal tab, the 30 buttons of the horizontal tab, that's greatest playlist, and then search for the playlist greatest applications of vectors. There you'll find collections of all our sessions about vectors. This is the 60 sessions. We have session 0, session 1, 2, 3, 4. You can access them right now before you take this session 5, and then you'll have session 5. Again, in case that we believe that you are going to enjoy our contents, and hence you'll be eager to share these contents with others. So you can share the video link to other students via social media by click share. You can share this content through Facebook, through WhatsApp, through emails, through Twitter, through Instagram, through Telegram, through TikTok. So welcome into also, and right now let us enjoy the beauty of of physics. We are in departments of best, excuse me, we are not in departments of best mathematics. We are in departments of physics. We are in departments of physics, and this is contents for Form 3 to T, reciters, teachers. We are in chapter 1, applications of vectors. The subtopic is called scalar and vector quantity. So we are in departments of physics, and this is session 5. So we are done with session 4, and the subject of the day is physics for the Form 3, right? Physics for the Form 3. So let me do the quick review of session 4. The aim to link this session with other session 4, is to link these sessions with the previous session. So in session 4, basically we taught you the method that called the heady, so we talked about the method called the heady tail method. So what we taught you, we said that first of all we join what? We join the head of what? Of the first vector, to the what? To the tail of the second vector. Of the second vector, if we have two vectors. Okay? Then we say that resultant vector is found, or is drawn from what? From tail of first vector to the what? To the head of second vector. Okay? So then we taught you that the resultant vector, if you be given two vectors, resultant vector, this is equal to summation of first vector plus second vector plus third vector, if third vector, that's the resultant vector. If you be given three vectors, resultant of three vectors, for instance. The advantage of this method, advantage of heady to tail method, is advantage of this one, it adds more than two vectors. So that's the case, and you end in example 4. So today I have to teach you about triangle law on some books. If we are learning methods of adding vectors, this is all about triangle method. So we'll teach you about triangle law, that you use in triangle method to add vectors. Alright? I will give you some other announcement later on when we continue this session. You're only welcome. So the fundamental question that we have, ladies and gentlemen, this is question 1. The first question: what is triangle? What is triangle method? Before we start the triangle law, let us ask ourselves as physicists, what is triangle method? Ladies and gentlemen, I found different ways of defining the term, but the simplest one, we say that the triangle method is the method that is used in physics and mathematics mathematics to add only two vectors. Add only two vectors by joining the heads, by joining the head to tail and the head to tail and tail to head. Tenoti tokenzata. So it's the only method that we use in physics to add what? It's the only method. So this is we say triangle method. It's a method that used in physics. So use it in physics and use it in mathematics to do it, to add only two vectors. By doing what? By which technique? By joining their head to tail, by joining head to tail and tail to head. Are the meanings of what? Of triangle method. So again, we have to ask ourselves this fundamental question. How do physicists, because we are learning triangle method in physics, so how do physicists add two vectors by using triangle method? So we are using the following technique. Please, we ask you that you can pause the video and note all these 7 steps for you to take advantage of our contents as well as we can. So this is the fact. In the triangle method, two vectors are added as follows. So the first vector is drawn on paper or on blackboard. Is drawn on paper, and then the second vector is drawn starting from head of first vector to the head of second vector. Second vector. So this is the first process, first and second process. So pause the video and then list these few steps. Thank you very much for registering yourself permanently into Awesome. So firstly, we ask you to draw the first vector on paper, and then the second step, we ask you to draw the second vector from the head of the first vector to the tail. From the head of first vector to from the head of first vector to the head of 40 of second vector. Yeah, the head of second vector. Then we say that we asked you to maintain the same angle. Maintain the same angle which the two vectors make. The vector drawn from the starting point. So maintain the same angle which the two vectors make. Are very important. A vector drawn from there, start from the tail of first vector to the head of, I told you in session 3 about tail and head of vector of second vector. It's called the resultant vector. And this is what will be looking in magnitude, the velocity, and the direction. So that's very important point. So remember that resultant vector is the sum of two vectors. The sum of two vectors. The sum of the two vectors. So the resultant vector is the sum of the two vectors. What does this mean? So this is very important. The resultant vector is the sum of the two vectors. So for example, if the first vector is A and second vector is B. Then the resultant vector is resultant vector C is the sum of vector A and vector B. Graphically, so graphically, in case you have any question, don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. So graphically, we may say that suppose that this is vector A. Okay, that is vector A. And then, due to monostotic, this is vector B. Suppose that this is vector A, and suppose that this is vector B, and this is the angle that they make. So then, now, so these are the two vectors, A and B. So then now, the resultant vector So wait. So I made a mistake here. So remember that this is tail of first vector, and this is head of second vector. So remember that the technique we're using in the triangle method, two vectors are added as follows. The first vector is drawing on the paper, and then the second vector is drawing starting from head of first vector to the head of second vector. So suppose that this is the second vector. So this is the head of first vector, and this is head of second vector, and this is vector B. Okay, vector B. So then we say that we have to maintain the same angle. So this is the angle that they made. This is angle between A and B. Maintain the same angle which the two vectors make. A vector going from the tail of first vector to the head of second vector is called resultant. So this is the tail. So remember, this is the head, but this is the tail of second vector. And here we have what? Head of second vector, but this is the tail of head of second vector. So we draw the resultant vector. So the resultant vector will be a vector so it will be this one. So this is the resultant vector. So resultant vector C. So simply we say that resultant vector, we can also label that this is P, Q, R. So resultant vector C is equal to A plus B. A plus B. But the resultant vector C. And this is the general formula we have to consider. So that the resultant vector. So the resultant vector is the sum of the two vectors. Okay? So ladies and gentlemen, if this is the formula, but remember that the resultant vector should have a direction. So the resultant vector C is equal to this one in direction of 40, in direction of theta. So in direction of what? Of theta. So that's the general formula. So this is the technique that we use as physicists to add two vectors in physics. And remember that the name of the topic is applications of vectors. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to teach you about triangle, how you can state, and what is triangle law. Triangle law, or in other books, this law is known as what? Triangle law of forces. So before we state, I have two ways of stating this law. Let me just write this sentence. So whenever any three forces, are at equilibrium. Whenever any three forces are at equilibrium. Whenever any two forces are at equilibrium. Then they obey triangle, law, or triangle, law of forces. So whenever any three forces, or whenever any three displacement, or whenever any three vector components are at equilibrium, then these three forces or these three vectors obey a law known as triangle law or triangle law of forces. Triangle law of forces. So if that's the case, ladies and gentlemen, before we apply this law and before I teach you how we apply physics, let us state it. And as I told you that there are different ways of stating this law. I'll be using two ways which are recommended for ordinary secondary education. Remember that I'm using the syllabus of United Republic of Tanzania. So all ordinary secondary students, all QT reciters, all the QT students, all the reciter students, all the teachers who teaches physics, who loves physics, you can take advantage of this content. And this content has been prepared specifically for you. So, the fundamental question that we have right now, ladies and gentlemen, this is question 3, which is a nectar question. State triangle law, or state triangle. So either language that has been used, the triangle law of forces. This is nectar question. And in the next session, which will be session 6, I will give you some examples regarding some other applications of vector. So solution of this question. So the first statement, I took it from this book that called the Physics from 3 and 4 students books, and then which are just you can order it online and you can ship it to any school that you are studying with only a price of 15,000. So let me cut, because whenever we start lows or step lows, we have to cut. We have to cut. So this is the book. It's called secondary. It's called the Physics from 3 and 4 students book. It has been written and published by Tanzania Institute of Education. The good news, you have also Tanzania Online Ordinary Library. So you can order this book with a price of only 15,000 without transport cost. So transport cost, it depends where are you living or where do you want to receive this book in all 31 regions of Tanzania. Because we can order, we can ship, we can send this, it means that we can send this book to you in any of 31 regions. So regardless of which school you are. How can you order this book? Just go to the descriptions below, click the button written show more, and then you see the link of the video that will give you access of this content. But simply you can send me a message through that telephone number 0759 34 5331. So solution, triangle law state that if three forces are in equilibrium, and two of the forces, and the two of the forces, and the two of the forces are represented in magnitude. In magnitude and direction. So if the three forces are in equilibrium and the two of the forces are represented in magnitude and direction, by two sides. By two sides of 40 of a triangle. By two sides of a triangle, then the third side of a triangle represents the third force. Then the third side of the triangle, represents the third force. Then the third force. So this is the end of course. Straight triangle law or straight triangle law forces. Triangle law forces state that if three forces are in equilibrium and the two of the forces are represented in magnitude and direction by two sides of the triangle, then the said side of the triangle represents the said force, which is called the resultant force. Let me just underline the keyword. If three forces or if three vectors are in equilibrium, these three forces should be in equilibrium. They should be balanced. And the two of the forces or two of the vectors, if you eliminate the word force, are represented in magnitude. Two of the vectors are represented in magnitude and the direction. By two sides of 40, by two sides of triangle. So these two sides of the triangle represent the two forces or the two vectors. Then the said side of 40, the said side of the triangle represents the said force called the resultant force. Or ordinary mathematics. Also, you can order another book that we call the Ordinary Level Physics Review, which contain questions and solutions of the past papers for the Form 4 from 2003 to 2019. So it states this law. All of these books are relevant for you. You can order this book with a minimum price. You're not doing business, but just we're keeping our students with relevant materials in order for them to go further or to go further as what we teach them. So you can order this book with the price of only 15,000 without 11,000, 11 Tanzania, 11,000, while in the local shops it's more than that price. And in case you want to order this book called the Ordinary Level Physics Review, NECTA past paper 2003 to 2019, just send an SMS of your order in telephone number 0759745331. Just send, and then we'll make a call to you in order to negotiate this fantastic opportunity for you to get this material in order to enjoy the beauty of physics. So, in the part of the physics summary notes, so triangle law of vector addition state that triangle law of vector addition states. So when we be asked in terms of to state the triangle law forces, that's the way that you have to state. So state that if two vectors acting on a body, are represented by adjacent sides. By adjacent sides of a triangle. Adjacent side of a triangle, such that the head of one vector meets the head of the other vector. The here resultant welcome our QT pre-form 3 and form 3 students and even form 4 students who like to enjoy and who like to prepare yourself on how you can answer physics questions of certificate secondary education examination. In short, internally call it NECTA, to take advantage of this content. Okay? So the here resultant is represented in the resultant is represented so the here resultant is represented in magnitude direction by a line of force, in magnitude and the direction because it is vector quantity, and direction by a line from the open tail of one of the vectors to the open arrowhead. Arrowhead means head. The open arrowhead of the second vector. At the end of the chord. So these are the two ways that you can state your triangle law forces. The second way of stating, in some of the books, it's called the triangle law of vector addition. It states that if two vectors, so let me underline the keywords, if two vectors acting on a body are represented by adjacent sides of a triangle, such that the head of one vector meets the head of the other vector. The resultant vector is represented in magnitude and direction by a line from the open tail of one of the vectors to the open arrow page or 40 of the second vector. What does these two laws mean? So the first law, that suppose, let us start the triangle law of forces. Suppose that we have two forces. This is the first force. So suppose that this is force 1. And then, so this is the tail of force 1. And this is the head of 40 of force 1. Then, in case that we have another force, eastward, then this is the head of the second tail, and this is second force. The angle between these two forces, which we call direction, is theta. So that's why that if 3 forces, so this is force 1, for 3, for 2. So the third force will be drawn from what? From the tail of the first force. And this will be what? So this will be for what? For 3. So if the 3 forces are in equilibrium, and the 2 forces, F1 and F2, represented in magnitude, so we have magnitude of F1 and magnitude of F1 by 2 sides of the triangle. So this is the first side of the triangle, second side of the triangle. Suppose that this is triangle ABC. And then the third side of the triangle represents the third force. So the third side of the triangle represents the third force, which is F40, F3. So that's the first way of saying triangle. Again, the second way, we say that we have a vector, right? So suppose that we have a vector, so which is the first vector, its tail is this, which is P, its A is at Q. And then we have a tail, we have another vector, second vector, right? Second vector. So suppose that this is vector A and this is vector B, but it can be vectors of forces. And then the third vector will be drawn from what? Will be drawn from the tail of first vector. So this is the resultant vector C, but the angle here is 90. So the angle is what? Is 90. Angle there is 90. So what does it mean? So it means that the resultant force for this case will be F1 plus 40 F2. And resultant vector for this case C is equal to vector A plus vector B. So this is figure 5.1a, and this is figure 5.2 or 21b. So that the representations, this is what we call triangle law, and this is the formula. So when we say this is the vector, so it has both magnitude and direction. So that is how we state triangle law as a title of session 5. Do you have any question? Do you understand what are we teaching you? If the answer is yes, tell us in the comment section. If the answer is no, tell us in the comment sections and explain where didn't you understand. Do you have any question at this point about triangle law? If the answer is yes, don't hesitate to ask in the comment section of this video. And if the answer is no, keep learning the beauty of application of vectors. Okay. So that's the fact. The second fact that we have to discuss, what are the steps? I have to teach about steps that you have to follow. So, not before. The triangle method adds graphically only two vectors. So add graphically only two vectors. Only two vectors. So the triangle method add graphically only two vectors. That's the first note. So we say that steps followed in adding vectors by using triangle method. In order to add two vectors graphically by using a triangle method. Then follow the following steps. The first step, draw the two given vector. Should we draw? No. You say the first step, choose the suitable scale to represent the given two vectors and the resultant vector on a paper. So choose a suitable scale to represent the two given vectors, and resultant vector on a paper. Then the second step, after you've chosen, so you say that convert the given vectors in convey the given vectors into the desired. So convey the magnitude of the given two vectors. With the given two vectors, so convey the magnitude of the given two vectors into the desired scale. So convey the magnitude of the given vectors into the desired scale. To steady step, draw the two given vectors on a paper and join the open tray and the open head as what? As a resultant vector. So on a paper and showing the open tail and open head as a resultant vector, by using a ruler and the protector. Protector is a device that used it to draw it angle. So because we are dealing with vectors which are both magnitude and the angles, so that's why that you need these two devices, ruler and and protector. Myself, as your teacher, I have my own ruler. Unfortunately, I don't have a protector, but you should have a protector. Then the first stage, so determine the magnitude of resultant, the magnitude of resultant vector. Determine the magnitude of resultant vector by determine or measure, okay, by using, so determine or measure determine or measure the magnitude of the resultant vector by using a ruler. Then the fifth step, the direction, or we call it angle, made by two given vectors is determined by using a protector, or what? Trigonometrical function. Trigonometry function. And when I say that trigonometric function, I mean either sine or cosine or tangent of the end. Another important point that when we be drawing the two given vectors, we have to remember to use what? The compass bearing. So use the concepts of compass bearing in drawing these vectors correctly. Correct. So if you want to add two vectors by using triangle method, this is very important technique. And with this very important technique, you have to follow those 6 steps. The first step, you have to choose the suitable scale to represent the given two vectors and resultant vector on paper. The second step, you have to convey the magnitude of the given two vectors to the desired scale. The third step, we have to draw the two given vectors on a paper and showing the ear, open tail, and open head as a resultant vector by using a ruler and protractor. The fourth step, determine or measure the magnitude of resultant vector by using a ruler. Then you have to, after you measure using the ruler, and then convert it into the desired unit by using what? So let me correct the number. So determine the magnitude of the resultant vector by using a ruler. So this should be the fifth step. Use the concepts of the compass bearing in drawing these vectors correctly. What does it mean? Remember the concept that we learned in geography about compass bearing, then I'll come to other steps. So you say that usually we have compass bearing is 4 direction, that this is north and this is south. Okay? So north and what and south. So this one, this is east and this is west. Okay? Then if that the case, also here, we have also, remember that this is 90 degrees and this is 90 degrees. So our comprehension on the compass bearing will help us in accurate drawing of direction. Right? So then here we have the line that bisects that angle of 90. Also here we do have another line. Excuse me. So this we call it, so remember this is 45 degree and this is 45 degree, 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 this is 45 degree, this is 45 degree. So this we call it north east. So northeast. This is northeast, and this is called the southwest, and this is called the southeast, and this is called northwest. Very important because most questions use that language. So this is figure 3, no 5, and 2. Compass there, because I love you. I believe that you still remember it, but if you forgot, then you can take that advantage. So the physicist use the concepts of compass bearing in drawing these vectors correctly. Because you'll be here the word due to east, due to northeast, due to northwest, due to southeast, due to southwest, due to south. So you have to understand these concepts of compass bearing, which we used to teach you in a subject called the geography, but also in applications of vectors, we have to teach you and remind you in case that you've forgotten. Okay? So the 60th step after drawing, then we ask you that this will be the 60th step. We ask determine or to measure the magnitude of resultant vector by using a ruler. And then that's not enough, okay? So that should be the 60th step. Then the 7th step, we say that convey the magnitude convey the unit of magnitude of resultant vector into desired vector, into desired unit, or into given unit. That's the 7th step. So the 8th step, we determine the directions or angle made by the two given vectors by using either protector or trigonometrical function, which is sine or cosine or tangent, but the most commonly used for is called tangent. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of session 5, which is called triangle law. I invite you to join me in the next session, which will be session 60, where I'll be solving problems, wording problems by using the triangle method. So I'll be solving at least 3 to 4 questions by using the triangle method. So you take advantage of it. So I know that possibly what we have covered in this session 5, it's beyond of what you have covered in the class, but that is a necessity, or this is the a crucial importance of what you offer also in your life. That if you take these contents that we've taught you in this almost 1 hour session and combine with what you'll be taught in the class, then you can do great things and you'll understand the beauty of physics for the rest of your life. So remember to follow the 7 steps in order for you to register yourself by subscribing into our YouTube channel. And remember to invite other students in the next sessions. And remember that always we upload or we publish at least 1 video in a day. So once you subscribe, we ask you to visit regularly or frequently or daily into our official YouTube channel, because we have a good news for ordinary secondary education in Tanzania, Africa, North America, South America, Asia, Europe, and even Australia. So take these contents. This is Olenjolai, your national physics teacher who loves so much physics, and by the grace of God, I'm also international physics teacher who would like to teach different students worldwide about the beauty of physics. So join me in the next session. Keep enjoying the beauty of physics. The good thing that the homework for this session 5, we ask you to review what we have taught you from the beginnings of session 5 to the end, because that's why we don't want to overload you with those steps. Because if you understand this one, the concept you understand and the extractive from session 5 will be used in session 6 on problem solving by triangle method. So make sure that you register this information, you keep them for the rest of your life. You will need to use this concept in advanced secondary educations in resolving the vectors, or resolving forces or resolving vector components, and need this concept even in undergraduate educations if you'll be enjoying the pure physics or applied physics. So may God bless you abundantly and keep you. I thank very much my God who have given I and you an opportunity to meet, and I thank my Father who is in heaven, who is a sponsor and the founder of this program. So may God bless you. Meet you in the next session. Keep enjoying the beauty of physics.